Hey, this is Luke with Salt Strong. Today we're going to be doing a rod rack, a DIY rod rack. We're going to basically build a recreation of this one. We've had people ask about how to do it, and it's relatively easy. I'll just walk you through how I built this, and then I'll give some shortcuts and then what to do just to minimize the effort involved. And if we look at it, it doesn't involve much. It's just some 1x3s, so two 1x3s. You got 1x3, another 1x3, and a 1x2. Just get those at Home Depot. They're actually pre-cut, like in a little craft section. So relatively easy. The hardest thing is just making sure that you get everything lined up properly. And so what I'll do is I'm actually going to undo this one, and I'm gonna put a piece of paper over it. That way I can make a little template. And so if you want to have that template on exactly where the holes go on these boards, that's the hardest part. And I'll just have a PDF that you can download and just print it off. And that way you can just print the paper off and then just do your drill bits right there in the exact right spots. Because you have to account for how the difference in diameter of the rod on where it hits down here in the butt and then where it hits up here at the top. It's because how it works, if we look down here right at the bottom, this the reason why these rods stay in here is because this board on the bottom is angled down. And so that's what keeps those rods in place. So you just have to have it all lined up properly. But when you do it, it's super easy, right? If you want to get your rod out, you literally just pull it up and then put it back in. You just slide it right in there. It's super, super easy. And I've been very, very happy with it. So I thought I might as well make another one. I have some more rods that I want to store. And so we're going to make another one and put it right here, right on the other side. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and do that. And so I'm going to take this apart, get the template for all the holes, and then I'll just show you how to put it all together. It's really easy. All right, so here's all the equipment you need. It's nothing crazy fancy. And the overall cost of this is about like $45, $50. And it's going to be a little bit less on your second one because you do have to, you have to buy the bit. This can be used on many. Everything else you're going to be consuming. And you can get everything like at Home Depot. Just should take one trip. This wood, this is nicer wood. This is oak. You can obviously go cheaper and save some money. But again, even though with this nice wood, it doesn't cost all that much. And so yes, you can go on Amazon or somewhere and buy a rod rack for less money, I'm sure. It won't look as nice, it won't be as quality wood, and it's not as cool because you didn't make it yourself. So if you want to see how to do it, keep watching. If you want to buy it elsewhere and save a little bit of money, you can stop the video and go there. But for those who want to do it, this is it. Again, you can go to Home Depot, get these are 1x6s, and they come 36 inches. I shaved it off to 25 and a half. You can go more, you can go less, just make sure they're the same. That's what really matters. And then with these are 1x3s. And then by 36, I just got them straight from there. And I just made, before I got them, sometimes they do have them a little bit off. So these are the exact same. We want them all to be the exact same length. That's crucial. And so these are the ones that I'm gonna be sawing some holes in. So we're gonna do holes to have a bunch of rods. They're all gonna be 4.5 inches off. And then this one is gonna be the bottom. The last time I did a 1x2, they didn't have 1x2s this time, so I have 1x3. Again, I just wanted to make sure that they were the same length. They are, so it's gonna work just fine. So that's it. And then obviously we need measuring tape, we need a pencil to mark our spots, and then we need the drill bit so that we can drill the holes. That's the only kind of complex thing we have to do. And so I mentioned before, it's kind of tough to do all the measurements, right? To try to figure out exactly where these boards should go. So what I did is I went ahead and I took this was what I did the first one with. And you see all my measurements there. I was doing all the angles, all that fancy stuff. So we're gonna make it super easy. That way you can do this yourself, is I'm just going to make a little diagram right here. I'll just get this paper, and to use this paper, I'm gonna punch holes in the spots. So that's gonna be one spot. And then what I'll be doing is I will print this out, or at least I'll scan it, and that way if you want to do this, you don't have to worry about that fancy math either. Oop, missed it there. There's one hole. And so this is going to be the one side, right? So this is on the bottom corner, and now we're just going to shift it up to the top. And now from the top corner, this is going to be where we drill from. Obviously, this doesn't have to be exactly perfect. That's why this should work just fine, and it'll save an absolute ton of time. Because that was by far the hardest part last time, is trying to worry about making sure that I had all the marks properly done. So this is our template. So now that we have this, the answer key, now I can sit here and I do my drilling. I can literally just do this right here. And this is what you can do as well, right? Now I'm just gonna hold this in the one spot. There's my marks. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then move it up to the top. And now we have 5, 6. Simple as that. So this is gonna save a ton of time. And again, what I'll do is I'll just scan this thing, and if you wanna do it, I'll have a link down below, and you can download the PDF free of charge. That way you don't have to do everything the long way. You can do this quick little shortcut. All right, so next step is gonna be the actual measurements. And so this is optional too. So you have some leeway, you can customize it however you want. So I did mine with 4.5 inches. That way I could have 8 rods. So this is an 8 rod rack. You can do 4 inches, you can get some more, right? But 4.5 is what I did. This is 36 inches long, and this 4.5 is the proper calculation for doing it. So I'm just gonna mark them both right there, right on each mark. So next 4.5 is 9. And that way, again, we can just drill them. We're going to drill them all in one take, too, to save some time. All right, sweet. So that's it. So now we have each of them. So we have all 8. They're equally spaced. Looks good. And now we have to put in this drill bit. And now we're going to drill these guys, and we're just going to do it all in one take. So it's like the first time I did it, I would do half and half, and then it's just a whole lot easier just to go ahead and put them there right next to each other and hold them tight. And then come on over here, because what this drill bit, you basically just put it, it's all pretty easy. All right, just put it right on that mark, and now we can drill both of them at the exact same time. Just gonna make sure that everything's flush and we're looking good. And now let's drill ourselves some holes for the rod rack. And it's going to try to get squirrely, so just hold it tight. All right, so another trick that I learned the hard way is it's much nicer if you go about halfway. So go about halfway, because the entry point makes this wood look a lot nicer, the edges. And so we're going to go halfway, and then we're going to flip them over and finish it off. So we're just going to keep that just how it is. We're halfway, and now we're going to go to the next one. And we're just going to do this for all 8 of them. All right, so we just did the first half, so we now have all 8. And again, if you look here, we basically have them halfway through. And what we're going to do is we're going to just flip it over and do it down on the other side. And it's just a whole lot easier to have somebody just help, because it is tasking to keep it all in place. And if it does go out of place, it's going to look bad, right? You can damage it. So for this step, best to have somebody else help hold. You hold it up top, have somebody hold this bottom side, and it makes it so much easier. So what we're going to do now is drill down each of these holes, and then they're going to meet in the middle, and it should have a nice flush hole at the end. All right, so we just did the first one. You can see it just met together nice and neat. And just show you how it's done, we're going to do it one more time, and then I'll get back to doing it faster. All right, so we'll just hold it and then just go right down in the hole and start cutting. As long as it stays all intact, you're going to get a good cut. Obviously, if you have a clamp, that'll be good, or another human to help you out. And it's surprising how good it looks. There we are. So we are free. 2 little pieces popped out. We can look at this wood. We can look at this wood and just check out, how nice it is. So it's nice and crisp, and we're going to take a little sander in there to make it perfect. But right here, that's a perfect line. So that's what we want. That is just how this basic tool can make these cuts look pretty darn nice. All right, so we have the holes cut. So now we have the rods, and you can see, these. It's all pretty nice. You can use a little bit of sanding. There's just a little bit of scruff on a couple of them, but otherwise, this looks nice and smooth. And this is going to make for a really nice rod rack. So we're going to have this one up top. This one looks the coolest. So we're going to hit this on the top, and then the next one will be down, and they're just going to be a little bit staggered. And then it should turn out really nice. So one thing I did note though is that this one is 7. The last one did 8. Last time I started over a little bit, and I did 4.5 to get the 8. The only bad thing about that was the ones on the edge had a hard time, you know, sometimes the handles were getting in the way. So this time I made it 7 just so that there should be no issues. Obviously you can customize it. You can size them based on, if you have some really big rigs, you can make 5. And then in the middle, have them skinnier. So like your smaller game stuff, you can have in the middle. Again, that's the cool thing about building your own. You can do it however you want. So this should work great for this case. And now we're gonna get our wood out. We're gonna get our template out and now do the actual drill bits. All right, so now for getting the bits, getting the marks for these, and this is where it's important. This is gonna be facing out, so you want it to look nice. So I was just kind of looking at both ones. We're gonna put the marks on the inside. And so I like this outside better, so we're gonna have that as the inside for the first one, and then this one had a little sticker on there for the price tag, so we're gonna go ahead and make that the middle. Could sand it off, but once that top rack is on there, once the piece is above it, you won't even see it, and so I'm just gonna leave it there. It'll be a lot easier just doing that. All right, so now as far as making our marks, right, we're gonna put, we're on the inside, and this is going to be the inside on the back corner that's facing the wall. And so we're going to make sure that it's flush on the sides, and then we're just going to mark right in the little holes. Again, so much easier than having to measure everything out. So those are the bottom ones. All right, now for the other one, very, very important, is you have to flip over the paper. So we have some stuff here, but flip over the paper, that way we can get the exact opposite, and then that'll do. All right, so now we have the holes. So we have our holes in the actual stands. And so now it's time we got to drill the hole bits in here. And so just so you can envision what's going on is that we have, you know, this is going to stand right there. This next one is going to be down below. And we just want to make sure that we get the holes in there properly. And so how I measured it out, obviously you can do it different if you don't want to use a template. I'm sure there's a lot of different ways. So I have these holes, they're 1.5 inches apart. This is 2.5 inches long. And so I just need to go in 1/2 inch on both sides and then drill a hole partly in the middle, and it'll be good enough. Granted, I'm not a woodworker by any means, but this simple plan gets the job done. So I'll go ahead and mark all these. Just do it, stand it up a little bit so I can see what's going on. I'm just going to get on here and just go in 1/2 inch and just eyeball it. It's going to get the job done. Just mark right there on the 1/2 inch mark. So right there is my spot. Then flip it over and do the same. So I'm gonna do this for all the rest of them. And then again, it might not be absolutely perfect, but it'll get the job done. So there we are. I have my two hole marks. I'm gonna do that for all sides, and we're gonna have our completed rod rack very soon. All right, so we now have all of our bits done, and so one update I mentioned before on this bottom piece, it's supposed to have been a 2x1, and they didn't have any, so I got the 3x1, and it was too wide. So you actually do need a 2x1. And how I knew, because when I put it over, I was just eyeballing it, and so when I put it over those two spots, right where it screws in, this one goes in at the angle, and it was going to go past. So I like to have this backed up against the wall. So if you want it back up against the wall, you actually need to either shave it off or get a 2x1. So I just got a circular saw and I just shaved it off. So now it's going to sit on there properly, where it's not going beyond the stand. So now all we have to do is really just start getting these, start putting some screws in. The screws I use are just these basic wood screws, 1 1/4 inches long. Gets the job done. And so now we're going to go ahead and start the process. And actually the easiest way to do it is start from the top, and we're just going to just get these screws in so that they're just barely tipping out of there. All right, now those puppies will do it. Might as well do the same thing with the other side, and then the final step is going to be a whole lot quicker. All right, so now we have these screws just dipping out just a little bit, so now it's time to start just getting these done. So we just line up, get those screws in the hole, and now we can at least screw them on. Just get them right on in there. Again, good thing about all these things lining up, you just screw them on and you're good to go. Now, same thing for the next one. Can't remember which one I wanted at the top. Yeah, I think this one looks a little bit nicer. So I like the nicest looking one on the top. And again, this one is going to be going, this is toward the wall. This basically is representing the wall. And so we are going to line these up. This top one, and this is going to be facing out towards the wall. All right, so we're done. It definitely is not easy, but it's fun to do, it's a fun activity, and we result with something that's going to last a really long time that can hold rods. We didn't film the last part. I needed some help just getting it done. You really need two people to put everything together. But it all came together pretty nice. Obviously, it's not perfect. I'm not a craftsman by any means, but it looks good enough. It looks good from afar, and the best part is the utility is there. And just so you can see how it works, right? Like I'll be the wall, and you basically just put the rod down, and the rod will hit the butt, will hit down on this bottom section, which is curved down. That's going to keep the butt from sliding out, and then it'll all just sit right there. All right, this is being held up in this midsection. It's holding it up, and then this top section, it's just keeping it nice and vertical. And we look at it from here, right? It's all at the right angles, so it's nice and perpendicular. And this is a solid setup. Again, doesn't require any fancy tools or any crazy woodworking skills. You can get it done. As I said before, this is definitely not a way to save money on rod holders, because you can get them cheaper elsewhere. But this is good wood. This will last forever, and you can even make it even nicer if you want to put some felt in there, just make it look nice. I like going just the natural route. Again, we have some good wood, might as well just have it shown. Yeah, because the key thing though, what you have to do is you just have to get the spacing right. You have to have these two, the top one and the bottom one, spaced properly so that the rod's vertical, right? If this top one was a little bit too far over, the rod's going to be leaning out. And if it's going too far back, that rod's going to be hitting the wall. So very, very important to get that spacing right. And so if you need help with that, right, I'll put together, I'll get that piece of paper and I'll make it a PDF where you can just download it. And that way you can have those holes and you can know how far away from these corners to put the holes. But again, that's it for now. Hopefully you enjoyed it. This is the first woodworking one that we've ever done. As I said before, we're not pros, but at least good enough to get the job done. And this will just make the rod storage just so much easier and most importantly nicer, where I can have it as now a showpiece. All right, well that's it for now. Leave a comment down below if you have any questions, and if you have any suggestions on how to make this better, please let us know. I will not be offended. I am not a woodworker in any means, so you can say that I did something totally wrong. I won't be upset. I'm not going to delete it. This is all about just helping people just make some fun rod racks for them or their family. So thank you so much for your time and watching this video. And if you're new to Salt Strong, just know that we're the online fishing club that'll help you catch more inshore slams than ever before while saving money on all the tackle you need. To learn more, go to saltstrong.com. Otherwise, hope to see you again soon.